This is Micornus, the leader and the founder of Young Men Empowerment Forum. We are continuing with this very same topic that we giving tips to young men of how to conquer the world. Tips to you as a young man of how to conquer the world. And thank you very much for being with us in this particular topic. I hope you are learning quite a few tips out of this and you using them and apply them in your life, and your life shall never be the same again. And remember that we have started with part 1, part 2, and part 3. And today we are on part 4, therefore, and I would love you just to revert back to those lessons that we have embarked on in the past and learn out of that and bring it up to part 4 today. And I'm speaking about the tips of how to conquer the world as a young man. And today I want to speak about behaving decently as part of that. Behaving decently as part of the tips that you will conquer the world. Now, behavior becomes very, very important to each and every one of us. How you behave means a lot. How you behave speaks a lot about you. And it either is going to set you up in life or maybe let you down in life. That is purely because of how you behave. Now, how you behave is actually going to result into what we call habits. And the habits are going to actually develop what we call character out of you. And you're going to be known by a specific character that will either qualify you or disqualify you as a young man. This is very, very important because behavior may be ignored in the beginning, because sometimes we behave in a certain manner and not be cognizant that the same behavior is going to set us to failure. And as a young man, I want you to be careful of behavior, that everything that you do, behave decently. There are those of the young men of us that are not behaving decently, and we ill-treat the elderly, we ill-treat young people and elderly people, we don't respect, we are rude to other people, we handle other people with disdain, and that's wrong behavior. And that type of a behavior, it is setting you up for failure. And we are saying today that a young man that behaves decently is actually setting himself up for success. And you will be conquering the world by the kind of behavior that you do in the beginning. Remember that behavior is going to name you. I'm talking about what I've spoken about because I said the behavior will bring habits. And when habits are matured, they will develop into what we call a character. And your character is going to name you because, a drug addict is called a drug addict because of the behavior of spending time on drugs or being addicted to drugs. And that came as a behavior, and that behavior developed into a habit, and that habit became so addictive to a point that it developed a certain character that you are named by. Remember, a drunkard is called a drunkard because of a habit of drinking alcohol every day. And this is what we call indecent behavior when you do so. And you are named based on that. And that's very terrible because as a young man, you don't want to be known by that. We're having young men today that are called nyaopes. You're called a nyaope today as a young man. It's because you behaved in an indecent manner and indulged yourself in this petty drugs called nyaope. And you got addicted in it, and nobody now respects you based on the decisions that you made. Because indecent behavior has got a tendency of labeling you. It's got a tendency of developing a character in you that you may either hate or like. That is either hated by people or liked by people. And that is very key that we emphasize that. It starts with behavior. Now, how you behave as a young man is very key. You cannot behave anyhow and expect your life to bring a better outcome. So therefore, your behavior is very important that you monitor it from earlier on as a young man. Are you able to listen to your parents? Because that is going to determine if you are able to become disciplined going forward. If you are going to be able to honor your your leaders and honor people that needs to be respected. And that's going to determine your success as well in life based on how you behave right now. Some of you as young men, I want you to scrutinize your behavior in your own home. Are you behaving decently? Your behavior in your own community? Are you behaving decently? And some of you are hated by your own communities. Some of you are hated by your own families as well because they don't like the way you behave. They don't like the indecent manner that you're dealing with them. The indecent manner that you behave in the community, because the indecent manner that you behave in the community is affecting the community negatively. And that is why it is going to determine on how the community embrace you or reject you. And some of you are rejected in your communities just purely because of your indecent behavior. Now, as a young man, I want to urge you that if you want to conquer the world, start behaving decently right now. What is decent behavior? Decent behavior goes along with respect. Decent behavior goes along with doing things that you'd not be ashamed of yourself doing them. It goes along with honoring people, both young and old, and respecting them and honoring them. It goes with not doing things that are embarrassing in front of other people. Not speaking anyhow, but monitoring your speech when you speak to people. When we speak about indecent behavior, we basically speaking about the treating of this with disdain of other people and undermining other people. For instance, looking down upon other people. And that is indecent behavior. And all that indecent behavior, as I said, it actually sets you up for failure as a young man. And you don't need to set yourself up for failure, because you need to rise up as a young man to a level where you can do things yourself and be able to be respected and open doors for yourself in this life. It is very, very important that you do that. It is very, very important that as a young man, you learn to do that. And because living indecently becomes really very detrimental to your own life. It is dangerous for your own life. So please be careful of that. The next thing that I want you to take as a tip as a young man is particularly to earn honestly. When we talk about money, earn honestly. Don't be corrupt. Don't make yourself corrupt. Don't live a corrupt life. Don't do things corruptly. Don't bribe people. Don't steal money. Because today, there are many people that are earning with crooked ways. There are people that are making money with drugs, by selling drugs. There are people that are earning money by killing others, like we have in our country, in KZN, where people are actually hired for killing people. How bad is that? Now, as a young man, if you embark on that, you actually put yourself into that, and you become an individual who is actually being used by people to kill other people. That is actually earning money in a very indecent manner. You're not earning honestly. You're not making money in an honest fact. Because if you're going to be paid for killing somebody, you're earning your money by killing people. And that's terrible. That cannot be allowed to be saying you're earning honestly. There are some of you who are driving flashy cars as young men, and some of your peers are driving flashy cars, and they didn't earn honestly. You know that they are corrupt, and as a young man, please don't envy them. Don't admire what they have. Don't admire their lifestyle. They're actually living like they're very rich and wealthy. It's because they've robbed banks of money. They've actually bombed ATMs. Some of them have actually been involved in robberies. They've killed people for their monies. And they've hijacked cars. They've actually, some of them have kidnapped people and for ransom. All those evil things. As a young man, I want to warn you that if you want to conquer the world, please be careful not to be part of that. If you want to conquer the world, please be careful not to be part of that in your life. Because that is terrible in your life. And honestly, every time. And let your money be the money that you're proud of. This is very key and very important. And I want to emphasize that as a young man, this is very important for you. Your host, Micornus Phokane. I want to end up here today And I want to remind you of our Facebook page, Micornus Phokane Young Men Empowerment Forum. Please like those Facebook pages. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be part of it, and so that you can learn from the material that we've posted there, and including this one. And I believe that you will follow us as we teach, and you learn out of these teachings. May the good Lord bless you. Your host once more, Micornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of Young Men Empowerment Forum. Allow me to check out right here and say cheers for now.